Well, this is going down as one of the stranger recruitments that I've covered. For the past 2 weeks, Miami fans and Oregon fans have been arguing over who's going to land DJ Pickett. Well, DJ just announced, and we both lose.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
DJ Pickett just shocked the college football world and picked the LSU Tigers. And yes, I know LSU had a hat on the table tonight. I also know that up until, I'd say, about a month ago, LSU had been trending for a lot of folks. But in the past few weeks, really since official visit season, the trends have been primarily with Miami and Oregon, and all the crystal balls the last couple of days had been for the Oregon Ducks. The dialogue for the past few days has been, is it going to be Oregon or Miami? And he puts the LSU hat on. So this is absolutely wild times we're living in. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, writer for allhurricanes.com. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Guys, make every moment more. I know the playoffs have winded down. The sport stopped sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And Bruce Warner, the truth teller, is with us. We had to bring you back on after the craziness of these past couple of weeks. Now,
Yep.
I will give you credit for being right that it wasn't Oregon. Oregon was not the pick, as you confidently said.
Yeah. I said he wasn't going there, but but Wilfong said he was going there. I didn't even think about LSU. I just didn't. So I'm kind of surprised.
Well, and neither did Wilfong. Wilfong and it, like Bruce, Wilfong wasn't the only one. Tom Loy from 24/7 Sports put in the Oregon crystal ball. A bunch of other people put in the Oregon crystal ball, and then people kept saying if it wasn't Oregon, it's going to be Miami. LSU had seemingly been trending in third here for weeks, but guess what? Obviously, whatever information we've all been getting was not correct.
I was hoping we were right because I wanted to make fun of all the pundits throughout this country, but I wasn't right on that either. I said Miami, and it hurts, but at least he's not going to Florida or Florida State, at least not yet. I don't think it's over because LSU is not going to be that great. And if Miami plays the way we think they're going to play and Pickett gets to see how we play, maybe he'll switch. Everybody was saying, if he goes to Oregon, he's not going to decommit. Well, he may decommit from LSU because they might not be that good. So that's what I'm hoping happens. But you know what? As of today, who cares? Let him go to LSU. I don't care.
So
we have enough good players.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about what Miami has already landed at cornerback and what Miami is still trying to land. I mean, I'm not going to disguise the sting. Like I want DJ Pickett to be a Miami Hurricane, and I say want, not wanted, because like you mentioned, Bruce, him putting on the LSU hat today, I'm not saying he's going to flip, but I am saying Miami will not stop recruiting DJ Pickett. Oregon will not stop recruiting DJ. Other programs that didn't have a hat on the table will not stop recruiting DJ Pickett. Whether or not he's receptive to overtures like that, we're going to find out. I know his father had said a couple weeks ago that whoever he decides to pick, that they'd like to essentially shut down his recruitment and focus on that program. Sometimes players say that. It doesn't always play out that way, so we shall see. But it's the craziness, Bruce. And again, I know that there's going to be people in our chat who are like, I was telling you it was going to be LSU. I was right. And okay, obviously LSU fans are going to say that, but Bruce, up until a couple hours ago, and we're live here or a little after 7:30. DJ made his announcement around 7:10 tonight that we didn't really start to see intel that pointed this week to LSU until a couple of hours before his commitment. So that's obviously when people at his high school may have become aware, or perhaps they notified the LSU staff, and there might have been some leaks. And so really it wasn't up until a couple hours until he chose LSU before anyone really had solid intelligence that the Tigers were going to be the pick. And something, Bruce, that I want to make this loud and clear. When I talk about this being one of the weirder recruitments that I've covered, what makes this extra weird is the fact that DJ Pickett is completely drama free, right? Because usually when we talk about weird recruiting cycles, like you're talking about something like Cormani McClain a couple of years ago, where there was just tons of drama and stuff like DJ Pickett. He's a complete gentleman. He's done everything the right way. I mean, I don't know if any of these schools feel burned that they may have gotten different information, but DJ Pickett is a complete class act. He's done everything the right way. So with this being a weird recruitment to cover, it's no fault of the player. Like, this is not a case of this guy trolling people and he's very quiet on social media. He wasn't trolling anybody. In fact, Bruce, all of this makes me wonder if the lack of intelligence, the lack of intel on his situation might be why so many of the recruiting analysts got this one wrong, because DJ and family are so quiet about their true intentions that it allowed people to jump to conclusions. And a lot of people, myself included, feel a little foolish today because we didn't take the Tigers seriously.
Well, I don't feel foolish at all. I think maybe this Dennis Smith might be feeling foolish because he put out that big post about the next 10 days.
10 days of madness turned into 10 days of sadness.
And the big fish, the whale or the shark in this whole thing, doesn't come to Miami. So you know what? We still can get Antoine. There's other guys out there, maybe Hanks. But we're not done. We're still going to have a damn good season, and we'll go from there. That's all. Look, let him go. I'm upset and I'm disappointed. Sure. But I'm looking at some of these comments are from people that are Miami haters.
Well, you got I don't know if this guy, if you're an LSU fan, like, fine, you can talk trash, like, take your victory lap. That's what we're here for, man. Fair play. If there's any LSU fans in here, celebrate. Feel free.
Yeah, he says, one of these guys says he did it to spite me. Kiss my ass, you stupid jerk. He did it to spite me. What an idiot. Only a moron would say that. And here you go. There's a moron right there.
Well,
they may bleep that out, but I really don't care.
Well, we're live. I can't bleep it out. I will just have to ask you to be a gentleman. Please be a gentleman here.
Me, a gentleman, please.
Well, so I do want to talk about
for that. Hi, Rob.
Well, I do want to talk about what Miami has and what Miami is still. Oh, it's a Georgia fan trolling. Okay, I guess. I mean, are you celebrating a conference rival landing the top player in Florida? That's a little strange. The Georgia fan trolling us. All right, so we're going to talk about what Miami is still working on in the defensive backfield. Let's not forget, it's already been a really good DB class of verbal commits, and the Hurricanes have irons in the fire. And right. I'm not saying they're going to give up on DJ Pickett. Miami will still recruit him, but of course, LSU and landing that verbal pledge is now in the lead. You want to keep it locked right here, my friends. We're only getting started on this disappointing episode of Locked On Canes. Keep it locked.
Yeah, we're doing a show together.
And I already know you're keeping it locked to FanDuel because, guys, we're winning money. It softens the blow a little bit, okay? And yes, I know that the sports are not sporting the way you want them to because the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs are over. But, guys, we got baseball going on. We just had some big international soccer tournaments. NBA Summer League, I do wager on that from time and time again. FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. Make sure you make Locked On ACC your second listen today. I co-host that show with Kenton Gibbs, who's awesome. Every single day we talk about ACC football. We're going to be out at the Conference Media Days next week in Charlotte, so make sure you tune into all of that. Miami misses out on DJ Pickett. I guess, like, if I'm going to look for a silver lining here, Bruce, Oregon fans probably feel worse right now because you went through the last 2 days thinking it was a slam dunk. Yep. I'm not going to say, obviously for Miami, you got, this is an in-state player. He's got family ties to Miami. His cousin, Booker Pickett Jr., is on the team now. His uncle, Booker Sr., played for the team. So I'm not saying we're not disappointed, but imagine being an Oregon fan right now, because the last 2 days you thought this is a done deal. People are taking victory laps in our comments, and he puts on the LSU hat.
Yeah, well, you know what? Again, I'm listening. I'm looking at these comments. Somebody refers to me as the false teller. You you come on here and do the show, and let's see how much information you have.
All
Like,
Bruce said was he's not going to Oregon. That's what you said. I'm gonna quote you on that. He's not going to Oregon, and you turned out to be right about that.
yeah, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong, right? Wrong.
No, you
All
weren't
right. So
wrong.
anyway, look, our recruits are pretty damn good this year, and we can get a few more, and we'll be able to figure out our team. Now, these kids that are coming from the class of 25, they're not playing this year. They're still in high school. So we need to win on what we already have and the young kids coming in, and that's what we have to do this year. The recruiting is great, but if we don't win 10 games or more, we're not going to be like this a year from now. We're going to have a lot less blue chip kids. So these guys, be damned. We need to win those games. We got to beat the Gators, and we got to do well in the ACC, get to the title game. I still think we're going to be in the playoffs unless we really crap out. And if we crap out, I wonder whose fault that's going to be. Because I think we have enough talent to beat every one of these teams.
It would be everybody's fault. I mean, I know you're implying that it would be the coach's fault, but the players still have a job to do, right? The players still have a job to do 12 times this coming season. And the outlook is bright for Miami. I wrote an article today at allhurricanes.com where the Pick 6 Previews magazine has Miami in their top 10 preseason. Phil Steele magazine has Miami at number 10 inside that top 10. I spoke recently to a Pro Football Focus analyst who says Miami has not only the most talented but the most well-rounded team in the ACC, because a lot of the other good teams in the conference, and you didn't guarantee Miami's going to win the ACC, but you look at teams like Clemson are going to rely heavily on their defense. Florida State, he said, is a little bit of an unknown because they have so many new players. They lost so many important players from last year, and other teams are going to rely on one side of the football, where Miami is a really balanced roster. And they're also balanced on offense, Bruce, because if Cam Ward doesn't beat you, Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher can. So Miami can dictate whether they want to be a passing team or a running team on any given Saturday, and they'll take what the defense gives to them. But yeah, so let's talk about again. We're it's funny because
these people don't stop. They effing don't stop. They just don't stop.
Why are you reading the comments? Forget about it.
They're listening to the show, and I'm sick of it. So maybe I'll stop doing this show, and they could have one of these jerk-offs come on the show, and they could be your co-host. Because I'm looking at this stuff. They want to know who I spoke to? A family member, you stupid idiots. And he told me he's going to Miami. There's your answer. Now, what would you say if you were sitting here and a family member said he was going to Miami?
You'd feel pretty confident.
All know-it-alls over there. So get lost and drop dead as far as I'm concerned. I'm just not in the mood for these people. That's all.
Have you thought about taking up meditation? Just like,
no, I don't need it. I don't need it. I
feel like you're going to burst a blood vessel over there. Like, I'm worried about you.
I'm having a grand old time doing this. Because I haven't slept all night long. I haven't gotten much sleep. So,
oh man. Well, okay, we're going to talk.
I'd rather go over to my grandchildren's house and play with my 3-year-old Macy.
Well, I hope Macy doesn't have an LSU hat on when you get over there.
No, she won't.
People love you, man.
And the best part of it is I had 2 cases this week where my clients were going to lose their kids, and they got them. So I am so happy that I was able to turn those cases around, because that's what's important to me, my cases, my clients, and their children. But all I'm trying to do here is give you the information that I get, and don't make up stuff. This false teller business is absurd. Look in the mirror, and then you'll see a real jackass. But for me to come out here and do this show with you, you know me. I don't make this stuff up. So the fact that the family member is shocked that this happened, I don't know what they did, the kid and his father. I don't know about the mother. I think the father's very involved in this. So okay, well, I don't know.
We're going to talk about what Miami is working on, and I'm not giving up on DJ Pickett. You want to keep it locked right here, my friends. We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Thank you so much. Oops. I think to Bruce Lee. I don't know if I might have accidentally. That might have been my fault. I might have done that. I don't want to. I don't want people to think he ducked out. I think I might have shut him down. Well, thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. We're free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. So, surprise announcement tonight. Like I'm not entirely surprised that he didn't pick Miami based on the intel the last couple of days where we thought it would be Oregon. I think everyone's shocked outside of LSU fans and probably Corey Raymond from LSU staff who, and when we talk about relationships, folks, recruiting so often, I didn't hang up on Bruce. I don't know where, either he hung up on himself or I hung up on him. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but I know he got very worked up there. But we talk about how important the relationships are when it comes to recruiting. And I definitely give Corey Raymond on the LSU staff a lot of credit because clearly that was a strong relationship that was built there. And apparently that relationship trumped, whatever he saw in the delights of visiting Oregon. Because I know DJ and his father, talked about how captivated they were, even though it's a lot of travel to get out to Oregon. Once they got there, they didn't feel like it was a lot of travel. And of course, I know for a fact DJ's visits to Miami were excellent, and he, felt comfortable with Miami, and obviously his family does. He's got a relative on the team right now. So I give credit to LSU. This is a big dub for them. They still have to get this one over the finish line. Come, I think December 7th is when National Signing Day is this year. They have to get it over the finish line still, but kudos to LSU for doing an awesome job in this recruitment. And the bottom line is we can go to bed tonight knowing that the Hurricanes still do have a top 10 class of 2025, and that Miami has already landed a number of excellent defensive backs in this class, and they're in pretty good position with a couple of others. The top-ranked DB in Miami's class at the moment is an excellent safety out of Mandarin High School in Jacksonville, Hilton Drake Stubbs. Miami has Amari Wallace from Miami Central, a DB committed. Miami has Chris Ewald, who's a high-rated 4-star from Chaminade Madonna, committed. Miami has Dalen up. It's a wide. My brain is fried. Timothy Merritt is who I meant to say. Cornerback out of Birmingham, Alabama, committed. And Miami is working on, hopefully in a few days, getting some good news from Jaboree Antoine, who's actually a recent LSU decommit. Jaboree Antoine's going to be deciding between Miami and Florida State. So that's going to be a big-time recruiting battle. He's going to be announcing on the 20th. So he's going to be announcing on Saturday night. And, we continue to see some momentum, despite the fact that this player is a Florida legacy. But Miami is still very much, I understand, on the recruitment of Ben Hanks Jr., who's a local player who's obviously the family ties, his father having played at Florida. Billy Napier, I got to say, has done a pretty good job with the legacies. As Florida is favored to land wide receiver Vernell Brown III later this week. So Billy's going to try to land another legacy. Come, I think October-ish is when Ben Hanks Jr. is going to be scheduled to announce. But, bottom line, obviously it stings. It stings not seeing DJ Pickett putting on the Miami hat tonight, seeing him put on the LSU hat. But bottom line is if Miami can get some good news on Jaboree Antoine later this week, it's going to make us feel a lot better about where the Hurricanes currently stand. And let me pull up the class of 2025 rankings right now. We'll tell you where. I'm also curious as to where LSU now sits, because landing DJ Pickett is a huge boost. Yeah, LSU. Wow. They've moved up to number 4. They've passed Oregon. So LSU and landing top cornerback in the class, top player in the state of Florida, DJ Pickett. LSU's moved all the way up to 4th. Got Ohio State at number 1 again, Alabama at number 2. The two of them have been kind of going tit for tat for the number 1 spot. Georgia at number 3, LSU moving up to 4th, Oregon at number 5 now, Notre Dame at 6, Texas A&M at 7th, Oklahoma at 8th. Miami still sits with the 9th rated class in the country, according to the 24/7 composite, with 18 commits at the moment. So Miami would like to add Jaboree Antoine later on this week. So again, hopefully we can turn this 10 days of madness around. I want 10 days of madness and not 10 days of sadness. Now, within this 10 days, Miami did land 4-star wide receiver Dalen Upshaw. I know a lot of folks, of course, were expecting some good news with DJ Pickett. We're not expecting to land Jarquez Carter, who's announcing tomorrow. Most of the trends for Carter have been pointing him towards Ohio State, the four-star defensive lineman. On the 20th, we may get some good news for Jaboree Antoine on the 21st. I think Florida is going to get some good news for Vernell Brown III. So, guys, I'm going to try to track down Larry Bluestein for tomorrow's episode and talk about some of the guys in Miami's class and, talk a little bit about what DJ Pickett can do at LSU. One thing's for sure, with the state of LSU's defense right now, Pickett can probably get on the field there and start right away. They've had a lot of issues at defensive back. So if immediate playing time is a big part of DJ's will, he's going to be able to do that pretty quickly at LSU. But Miami's still going to try for the National Signing Day flip. So, guys, for the LSU fans in here trolling us, congratulations to you, because honestly, you get yourself a really good one. And clearly, Brian Kelly and Corey Raymond did an awesome job with this commitment. Thank you guys so much. Even the LSU trolls, for the Miami lovers and the Miami haters, whether you love us or you hate us, smash that like button. Smash that like button and subscribe to Locked On Canes. And if you're listening to the audio version, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And we'll talk to you guys next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.